Welcome to episode 2 of Two Guys and a Mic. My name is Scott. I am joined by Mike and Matt. Now, I would ask both you guys how you guys are doing, but last time I asked you guys that, you guys looked into the camera like a couple of fucking idiots, so I don't think we're going to do that this week. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead.
Jitterbugs.
Huh?
Jitterbugs, man.
Jitterbugs.
You know how it is.
Get over yourself. No one cares about you. They're here to watch me and Mike anyways. You're just that special. You're just that special friend that we invited. And
tag along, yeah. Just throwing my 2 cents.
To make you feel warm and fuzzy inside.
So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with, we're jumping to the NBA playoffs. I guess the first one we were talking about, we're going to talk about the Denver-Phoenix series that is now tied 2-2, which I told Matt last week that I thought it was going to be a close series. He didn't believe me, and he is now wrong. So I officially know more about basketball than you. So congratulations. But besides the game, before we jump into that series, I do want to talk about one thing we saw today about the owner being pushed. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah,
I thought it was I thought it was a chicken shit move. I mean, yeah, Jokic was trying to get the ball from him. Obviously, the owner was holding on to it. You could tell he had a pretty good grasp on it, and ball went flying. Jokic was a little frustrated, gave him a little forearm shove, but especially the owner, it doesn't matter. Owner, fan, you can't be making contact with them.
All right, suspension or no suspension?
I think it warrants a suspension, but you know how the NBA, I don't know. Might be his first time. I think it is his first time as a first-time offender, so we'll see how the NBA, backpacks on that. But, I mean, the NBA doesn't want to, that situation could have turned into the malice at the palace. I don't know if you guys remember that. The Pistons, they don't. You make a contact with ref or fans, it's uncalled for, and it should be a suspension, but we'll see how the NBA plays it out.
Yeah. No, I think so. Regular season is a suspension. We're in the playoffs. I don't think they can suspend him, especially with the name that he is. They're probably going to make him do an apology or something like that and call it a day. Now, it's just going to depend if the Suns owner wants to kind of push it a little bit. I don't think he is, but at least it didn't sound like it. But as far as
I think his history though would go a lot into factor on this. Now, if somebody like Draymond that has a history of stuff like that, I think it'd be a different story.
Absolutely,
yeah, for sure. So far, what do you guys think about the actual series? Matt, I know you were talking about in order for to win. And KD are going to have to have some massive games, and they've done it. They've done it.
Yeah, they have. I mean,
what do you think?
I had Denver winning the series in 6. I mean, I had Denver making it to the finals, but I mean, they find themselves in a fight, man. I mean, today Jokic goes for 53 and 11. It was just Jokic and Murray. 3 guys off the bench. They went the 8-man rotation, and the 3 guys off the bench combined for 11 points. I mean, that's not going to get it done. If you got 3 guys coming off the bench only providing 11 points, and it was just Jamal Murray and Jokic show, and it wasn't enough. I mean, KD and Booker just carrying that load right now. So, 2 All-Stars.
KD and Booker both got theirs. They both had 36 apiece tonight.
Yeah.
And then you had Shamet come off the bench, had 19.
No, I think what was the other game that they won? Was it game 2?
No, Phoenix won.
No.
Phoenix has won game 3 and 4, both games that were at home in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Okay.
Home team's taking them.
Now go back to the stats for game 3 for KD. I think it was Booker, right? Didn't Booker go off for like
Booker at 47?
47,
yeah,
it was 47.
Yeah, something like that. So it now
and KD had 39.
Yeah.
Now my question is, do you think this is because they're at home, or do you think this is because maybe Phoenix figured out something with Denver's defense and now they're exploring it, and then now what we're going to do is, are we going to see them continue to do this, or what do you guys think?
I see it continuing. I mean, KD, is kind of notoriously starting off series slow. We get a little feel, but I don't think Michael Porter he can't handle with KD one-on-one. They send the double team. Booker's hot right now, and I just think KD's going to just take over. KD's, like I said, notorious starting off slow in series, so we'll see, man. I mean, it's going to be a good series. I think it's going 7, so I still have the Nuggets winning 7. That's just going my pick. So,
Mike, you got what do you think? Denver or Phoenix?
I still think Nuggets are going to win the series. Even going back to game 3 when Phoenix won their first game at home. Yeah, you had Booker go off, you had Kevin Durant go off, but yet you also had 3 guys for Denver score 20 plus. Porter scored 21, Jokic scored 30, and Murray scored 32. They had nobody else score any points on their team. So that doesn't help. They ended up losing that game by 7. I think tonight they lost by, 5, something like that. So if they can just get somebody that gets them a few more points, those could be completely different games, and you could be looking at a 3-1 series right now.
Yeah, you'll probably be looking at a bench player that's going to end up probably doing that for them. But so I want to move to the Boston Philly series now. I haven't been paying too much attention to this series. I don't know if you guys have. For some reason, I don't know why it doesn't entice me. I don't know why. They're both 2 powerhouse teams, but for some reason, I haven't wanted to watch it. So Matt, I'll let you take lead on this one.
Yeah, today's watching it, man. It was a good game. I mean, Harden got his. I think what he got 42. Embiid got his. I mean, honestly, to be honest, I saw that last second play. Boston had it in their hand and went overtime. They had 2 timeouts to spare, 16 seconds left, last possession, and I expected a timeout. Get the play ran, get their set ran, and they didn't call a timeout. And Tatum drove, kicked it out, and it was too late. Smart shot it, and he didn't get the shot off. And honestly, it's just I have Boston winning the series. It's just right now, I think Tatum or Brown one of them need to come step up and take grasp of this series. I mean, I think Tatum had 24 today, and Brown had 23. So we'll see. I mean, you need one of those guys to go off, get you 30. 35, 40 points, to get that stranglehold on the series. But I still have Boston winning the series in 6.
Yeah, that might be what it takes. They had Boston had 6 players score double digits tonight.
Yeah.
So it may take somebody to go off.
Bad.
Yeah.
And you still got Boston on that one, Matt?
I got Boston in 6. I see them going home, taking that, handling business in the TD Garden, and then coming on the road. They've been close. They've been close on their games on the road against Philly. I mean, and I think they're going to sneak out one in Game 6 against Philly and wrap it up.
Okay. And then now what we're going to do is move into Miami and New York. And all 3 of us actually picked the underdog. All of us picked Miami. We thought they were a much hotter team going into that series. And so far, that's the way it's looked. Yeah. I mean, Miami's up 2-1. They've looked like not only the better basketball team, they just look like the hotter basketball team. So, Mike, I know I think you wanted to talk about this one, so I'll let you kind of jump on this bad boy if you want and go from there.
Yeah, I just until the Knicks figure out a way to stop Jimmy Butler, I don't see the Knicks winning a game. They won Game 2, but Jimmy didn't play.
Yeah, and that was something I wanted to talk about
too. Hot, and he carried. I mean, look at what he did the first series of the playoffs. He carried the Heat through that series. And you can tell by far he's the catalyst of that team. Everything's running through him. He's the center point, the focal point of the team. And until they can stop him, Heat's going to continue to win. And now Heat's got the 2-1 advantage, and they got another game at home.
Yeah. Now, if Butler doesn't get hurt and he doesn't miss Game 2, you think this could have been a 3-0 series at this point? Game 2 was still close, even without him. Game 2 was still close, and New York. I mean, New York should have blown them out. So
yeah. No, I just think right now New York's missing a lot of shots, man. I mean, they're a good, they're a good 3-point shooting team. Field goal percentage is really high throughout the season, but I mean, this past game they had Randall, Brunson, and Barrett combined 16 for 51 from the field. I mean, come on, that's not.
You're not going to win games shooting like that.
2 for 17 for threes combined between the 3. You're not going to win. Not going to win many games at all.
No, you're not going to win jack postseason shit. Yeah, you're not going to.
Yeah, the shooters need to show up, and we'll see who goes from there. I mean, I like Josh Hart. I mean, if Josh Hart can continue to play some defense on Butler, bother him, get into him, and I like the Knicks. So we'll see, man. But Miami's a really good team. They play some good defense too. So that's probably a little key. That New York's probably not shooting as good because Miami's playing some good defense. So it goes hand in hand.
Yeah. And then the last series here, we got the Lakers and Golden State. Now, this is the one all three of us are paying pretty close attention to. We all live in California. It's a big thing out here right now. This is now the second West Coast series in the playoffs now, which is really nice to see. But I watched the game last night. I actually stopped watching come fourth quarter. I just completely stopped paying attention. I thought Golden State rolled over. Showed their belly.
Yeah.
No fight. I mean, you're up 40. What they were up 41-29. 8 minutes left in the game, and then
in the half.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. 8 minutes left in the first half. You're up by 11. You're in cruise control, and then and then foul after foul after foul after foul. By Golden State, and they end up losing the second quarter. They got outscored 36-18. And then the second half was just the same thing. It was more fouls. It was poor shooting. So from the field, you got Golden State under 30%. That's here. I got right here. They shot under. Sorry, 3-point. They shot under 30%, but from the field they shot 39.6%. So if you're going to be in, 29.5% from three, you better be hitting some jump shots, and they couldn't even do that. And it just, I mean, they ended up losing.
Well, for comparison, Lakers shot just under 50%. They shot 48.4 from 3-point. They shot 52.5 from the field. Here's where a big factor is. So Lakers won by 30. Lakers had 20 more free throw attempts. 17 free throw attempts for Golden State and 37 for the Lakers.
Yeah, and that's something that Curry was talking about in Draymond Green, that they felt they couldn't get into a rhythm because they were constantly just being hit with fouls, and there was just no rhythm to the game. And when you put a team on the free throw that much, it's going to kill, especially AD. He was 11 for 12 from the free throw line.
Yeah.
So when you're not missing free throws, you're going to end up losing. And on top of that, Golden State only had one player over 20 points, which was Stephen Curry. Again, they had no answer. Now, AD didn't show up game 2. That's probably why Golden State ended up winning. But they had no answer for him. 4 blocks. He had another, I think, what was it? They had 13 rebounds, 25 points. Yeah. LeBron James went 25, 8, and 8. So...
I was watching game 2. Sorry, Scotty. I was watching game 2. I saw that Golden State made the adjustment, sent double, triple teams at time to AD to get the ball out of his hand. They made the right calls, but they tried it this game. AD before it came, he made the right pass, man. I mean, it's all about adjustments, getting the ball, moving it around the paint, and finding the open man. And LA did that in game 3 to secure that win.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, if LA wins the next game, I think that's it. I think Golden State's.
Yeah, they'll be up 3-1 at that point.
And again,
to come back.
Well, it will be another easy series for the Lakers, where it's not gonna take. They're not in close games. It's not battling. It's not rough. Let's just say they win the series 4-1. All right, they take it in 5 games. They get the rest up, and now they got Denver and Phoenix beating up on each other. Like Golden State and the Kings beat up on each other. So if they can make this a short series and the other series goes 7, I mean, Lakers could have a chance. They could have a chance to represent the Western, Western side in the finals. So we'll see how that goes. But
and to backpack on what you said with those free throws attempts, the Golden State is not notorious to get to the line. Steph Curry is. He gets in the paint, he'll drive. But outside of that, they don't have a big man that you can give it down low to him consistently. Looney can't do it. He doesn't have much post game. And everybody else is just, they live on the 3-point line, man. It's all jump shots. So if you're not getting to the free throw line, you're not getting easy points. I mean, besides outside of Curry, I mean, it's hard to keep up, especially when LA's
they don't call it the charity line for nothing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, points, the best thing to get is points when the clock is stopped. I mean, you can't beat that, right? So, and outside of Curry, nobody else can do it really consistently on Golden State. So LA's, I mean, they're playing the right basketball, man. Get it down low, get some free throws, drive in, kick out, take it if you need to. And I like the way they're playing, man.
Yeah, but if you're not getting to if you're not a team that is very good at getting to the free throw line, then you have to protect yourself on the other side and not put the other
shoot at a
team
high
at the free
percentage
throw
too.
line.
Yeah, but I mean, shooting isn't a guaranteed thing. It's just if you're hot, you're hot. If you're not, you're not. We all know how that goes.
Yeah. So we're gonna find out. We'll see what happens if Golden State comes back and makes the adjustment. Because like I said, I think if they win the next game, the series is over. Maybe they pull out game 5, make it a 3-2, but you're not gonna go at this point with the way that they're playing. They're just way too streaky. They go down 3-1 in my eyes. That the series is done. We'll be seeing the Lakers in the conference final. So next we'll go ahead and I wanted to move on to some baseball. Talk about some standings. I got notes here. So Pirates, after we talked about the Pirates last week, they now have lost 7 in a row. Now they do still sit in first place. They're 20-15. The Brewers are 1 game behind them at 19-15. Then you got the Cubs at 500 at 17-17. So that division really can now, as far as it looked like, Pirates had a chance to maybe just not necessarily run away with it, but continue to build on that lead that they have. But you lose 7 in a row, it's not looking good. So maybe this is just a team that just started off hot, and maybe who they are right now is who they actually are. But we'll see. They have a chance. Luckily, they're not in one of the tougher divisions in baseball. And then the Dodgers, they're in first place. But what I want to talk about was the Padres, and they are starting to heat up. Tatis is starting to pick up. Now Juan Soto's batting average, I think he's still in the 210s, 2 teens, whatever. But he is walking at such a high clip right now. He's walking a lot, so he's getting on base. So Xander Bogaerts is doing all right, but Machado, I think today had like another 3 hits. I think he went 3 for 4 today, raising his average into like the 250. So like those 4 guys that hit at the top of their lineup who have been struggling, it's not going to happen all year. And right now, the fact that they're only like 3 games out of first place with the struggles that they've had, it shows me that they're going to have a chance to win that division. And now I did pick the Padres to win that division. So we'll see what happens. But the Dodgers have been playing really well right now. They hit a little hot streak. They're 8-2 in their last 10. And then, going back to the NL Central, the Cardinals, who I picked to win the division, are now 11-24, as Mike was saying before. They have the 3rd worst record in MLB now.
Yeah, that's a shocker.
It's a huge shocker.
The only 2 teams that are worse than them, Kansas City at 9-26, and the A's at 8-27.
When you're mentioning the A's, it's not a good statistic, man.
No, it's not. And really, they're only 3 games ahead of the A's right now.
Oh, man.
And the A's aren't even. I mean, you talk about the A's, you just talk about like. Can you guys name anyone on the A's?
No.
I can't. Only because
that's the farm system.
Yeah, they only went there from the Braves and their trades, but outside of that, no, not really.
No. Yeah. So, and the Cardinals
they're a professional AAA team.
Yeah, I mean, you got Cardinals have players like Adam Wainwright, who I understand is a lot older, but he can still get it done on the mound. You got Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado. Like you have guys on your team to where maybe you're not, blowing teams out of the water, but to be 11-24, you got way too much.
Now, what do you think? Sticking with the Cardinals, what do you think about the move that they just did? They took Contreras out from behind the plate.
Saw that.
Yeah, I don't. What's he gonna do?
I don't know.
Is he DHing or what's going on? Like, did you see anything as far as like the reason behind it?
What I saw didn't mention anything about what was going on with it.
Yeah, they just took him out.
Did they say who's going to replace him or anything like that? Who's catching?
Unless they're looking at it right now as they got nothing to lose. See what they have in the farm system.
Well, they do. They have a whole season to lose.
I know, but you also have. I mean, and that makes it interesting because they just got Contreras this offseason.
Yeah, they just traded for him. I don't know if they were.
Yeah,
and I don't know if they were. I'm assuming they were expecting him take over for Yadier or Molina, but you're not replacing Molina. I don't give a shit who you trade for. That guy was a clubhouse leader. He was arguably
Hall
the
of Famer.
best defensive catcher, and he could get it done with the stick. That's just a guy that you weren't going to replace. So what they really should have done, and probably made some other moves, probably picked up another
update on that. Said that they are going to be having him primarily serve as a DH exclusive, almost exclusively moving forward, at least in the meantime.
Maybe his defense. Maybe they feel his defense has dropped down.
Now, before we move on, what do you guys think? It keeps going like this. Is the manager? I mean, he has to answer for what's going on.
Yeah,
No, man, you're 11 and what, 24? I mean,
yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if it happens.
They got too high of expectations after what they did last year. They have too high of expectations to be able to sit down in the tank like they are,
and to let this continue to happen. Yeah,
as it is, that's going to be a tough hill to climb, as it is right now this early in the season.
Especially right now, I know. Yeah.
The other division I want to jump into is the AL East. Is just God, what a cutthroat division right now. All right, Rays 28-7, Orioles 22-12, which we got to watch them playing the Braves. They showed that they belonged. It was they came out game one and they spanked the Braves in that series.
Yeah. And you got the Blue. In reality, not to cut you off, game 2 and 3 were coin flips.
Well, fuck you. Don't cut me off then. If you don't want to cut me off.
Braves had to come from behind to win game 2 and game 3.
Yeah, ninth inning.
So I mean, those two games were both dogfights.
Yep. Hey. And then you got the Blue Jays 21-14. You got the Red Sox. Now the Red Sox 8-2 in the last 10. They've bumped up to 21-15. Another team the Braves are about to have to play, and they're hot.
Series.
Now the Yankees are last in the division at 18-17. But I wanted to talk about their injuries. I know I think I had talked about it last week about they can't stay healthy. And so listen to this. So you got Luis Cerviano, he's hurt. You got Josh Donaldson hurt. Aaron Judge is hurt. Carlos Rendon, obviously he hasn't played this year, but he's still hurt. He was expecting to be right up there with Garrett Cole at the top of the rotation. You got Giancarlo Stanton, who I had mentioned it was only a matter of time before him and Judge got hurt, because that seems to just, aside from last year, it just seems to be an every year thing with them. He's not even due back until late May, early June. So he's pretty much missing all this month. Now, Aaron Judge is expected to be back in the next 3 or 4 days, but still, that's just one guy. They need all these other guys. You have Frankie Montes. He's supposed to be out until the second half. And then Luis Gil, another one of their young pitchers. Tommy John, he's expected back at some point this year. I don't know exactly when. But, I mean, look at that. I mentioned 4 guys out of their rotation, and they're two big power bats. And you can even argue Josh Donaldson's probably their third, him or Rizzo are probably the number 3 guy as far as the way the power goes. So with them sitting at 18-17, already being that far behind the Rays, I don't see them winning the division. I've already crossed them off as far as I know. It's early in the year, but I mean, you're already 10 games behind the Rays, who look like they're not going to slow down. And then on top of that, you got to play all these other teams just out baseball. It's not going to work.
A lot. I think the next few series. So they got an easy series coming up right now. They play 3 against the A's. After that, they play 4 more against the Rays. They just came off a series with the Rays right now. So they play 3 against the A's. They play 4 against the Rays, and then they turn around and play 4 against the Blue Jays.
Right there. So
that's
if they cannot win against the Blue Jays and Rays, if they lose both of those series, you can almost just say, even when they get these guys back, it could be a done deal as far as that. I mean, especially if the rest of that division continues to play the way that they've been playing, But then you got other divisions you got the AL Central. Look at Twins 19-16, Guardians 16-18, Tigers 15-18, White Sox 12-23, Royals are 9-26. So just in that division, you have 2 the worst 4 records in all of baseball between the White Sox and the Royals. So pretty much someone in that division is going to get an easy road into the playoffs as far as because their division is so weak. Now, I thought the Guardians were going to end up winning that division. I still got them. I think they'll be all right. Just not a strong division. AL West is the same.
Only one game above 500, or only one team above 500 in that division.
Yeah, only team in baseball. Everyone else has at least two. No, you know what? I'm wrong because the NL East is the same way.
Also the same way.
Yeah, you got the Mets at 17-18. Marlins are 17-18. Can you believe it? The Marlins and Mets had the same record. The Mets with all this hype, and they're 17-18 with the Marlins, who had no hype going to the season. They're supposed to be a young team, maybe could compete here and there this year. But yeah, and then now the Phillies did get Bryce Harper back.
They're going to be a team to watch.
Fire.
They can catch a hot streak soon. Yeah,
but they are 16-19. But now that they're getting some guys back, especially when you get a player like Bryce Harper back, that's going to be good. And then obviously the Nationals will always be the Nationals at 14-20. But the AL West, you got the Rangers at 20-13, Angels are 19-16, Mariners 17-17. Surprising, the Astros are 17-17 with
all their injuries too. I mean, for them floating 500 with all the injuries they have on that roster, I mean it's not a bad place to be in that division.
Yeah, and
only 3.5 back.
Yeah, and I don't know. We'll see how good the Rangers end up doing. Let me see. I wanted to look at. They are getting. They're about to get Altuve back. I'm reading up the update right now. Yeah, so he's closing in on his rehab assignment. So he's going to be back soon. And the fact that they kept him on, so they didn't put him on the 60-day injured list, which I think was a smart move. Obviously, they knew he was going to come back before 60 days into the season, so he could be back within the next couple of weeks if he's ready to start that rehab. That could probably help a lot as far as that goes. But so I wanted to jump into the top 10. Well, I got 11 guys right here. Okay, so the home run leaders for MLB is very weird. Okay. So you got Max Muncy, he's leading at 12. Rafael Devers has 11. Now here, Rafael Devers last season in 555 at bats, he only hit 27 home runs.
Jeez.
He's got 11 with I think around 120. All these guys are right around 120 at bats. Patrick last 464 bats. The first name I'm not surprised is on this list is Pete Alonso. Okay, he's the name that should be on this. Brent Rooker from the A's is number 5 with 10.
Yeah, there you go. There's a guy from the A's. You were asking us to meet somebody.
That's the guy that I was trying to talk to about the other day. The Braves can make a trade for that guy, the left fielder.
Well, now this is the interesting thing. He's never been a big power bat. Look at.
No.
Yeah, his most home runs he had was in 189 at bats. He had 9 home runs in 2021. Okay, he's got 91 this year and 10 home runs. Okay, so if you doubled that, that's about where it would be at the 189 mark in 2021. So he would be at 20 home runs, which is not what he does. So I don't know if it's because being on the A's, always being down, you're going to get pitches to hit. Guys aren't going to mess around. They're going to come right at you. You're going to be pricing a lot of fastballs. Now, maybe he's taking advantage of that, and his stats are looking better than what he might actually be, but still. After that, Okay.
Go ahead. I was say you got to remember that's not a hitter-friendly park, man. In Oakland, that field is deep, and that's impressive. 10 home runs.
Hey, and speaking, this is we'll come back to that in a second. I want to talk about them moving to Vegas. Okay, so now you have three Braves players on here. Now you got Matt Olson. Obviously, he's not a surprise. He should be always a top 10 guy. But Sean Murphy has 9. Okay, he hasn't played most of the year this year. He didn't play at the beginning. He wasn't playing that much, and he started slow. But he already has 9. He had 18.
He caught fire when d'Arnaud got the concussion, and Murphy became the everyday catcher.
Yeah,
it's almost like Matt and I have talked about this quite a few times. It's like he got into a groove.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where he needs to be an everyday catcher.
Yeah, and you were talking about, Matt, how like Oakland isn't like a friendly hitter because he had 18 and 537 at bats last year. So he's already at his halfway mark, is what he was last year. Okay. Ozzy Albies is at 9. I don't think he'll stay there. Yandy Diaz, okay, he has tied his home run mark from last year, and it took him 473 at bats last year to do it. And he's already there in a quarter of the at bats. Okay.
At 114, yeah.
Yeah. Now Randy Arozarena, now he only hit 20 last year and 586 home runs, but he's young. Maybe he's just now starting to tap into his home run potential. But these guys, I don't see. Maybe Pete Alonso. All right, Max Muncy, Pete Alonso, Matt Olson. Those are the only 3 guys. Maybe I don't think I talked about Rody Tellez. He has 9 already. He hit 30. He hit 35 last year. He could probably stay on this list, but I really only see like maybe 3, maybe 4 guys of these 11 guys staying in this top 10 list. So this is something I'm going to be monitoring throughout the season. I'll have an update as far as this goes next year, or not next year, but next podcast. Because I'm interested to see if some of these guys can keep it up, maybe become new power bats. Because you always have that one guy each year that like surprises everyone, and all of a sudden he's a power bat guy. So yeah, I definitely want to keep an eye on that. But one of the things we want to talk about was Franco's little ball trick he did there on that ground ball up the middle. If anyone didn't see it, go check it out. It was against the Pirates. The ball up the middle.
Yeah.
Yep.
He takes the time to put the ball up and spin it with his hand, catches it bare hand, throws a dart. Reynolds is out. Next at bat, he hits a home run.
And still had him out by a couple steps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, there's an unwritten rule to me about showboating and showing people up. I would have protected my team if I had been on the Pirates. If I was a pitcher, I would have hit the shit out of Wander for doing that stuff. He would not have gotten a ball to hit. Absolutely not. I would have drilled him right in his back. That's just me personally. I don't. You're at it. MLB is the best of the best, man. If you're gonna be showing me up like that, like, okay, all right, we're gonna come at you. So I was really disappointed that the Pirates didn't come at them. And honestly, the fact that you're in another first place team and you're in the middle of a losing streak, you got guys showboating you like that. Maybe you need to do something like that. Get your guys fired up a little bit instead of just letting them do some shit like that. So that's just me personally. Yeah, I wasn't like a big fan of it. Like, cool, you can do that, but I hope he tries it again. And I hope this time, I hope he drops the ball.
Well, I've never been a fan of the unwritten rules in baseball. I mean, to a point, but this
let him play.
Yeah, I mean, let him play. But this, I mean, I don't know. I agree with Scott. I don't like it, man. It's too much. The cockiness, man. I mean, he's a good player. I mean, on his way to be an all-star, he's a young player. But I mean, when Reynolds was interviewed, he was like, "I saw it. It didn't impress me." I mean, it just made a play, man. Just make the play. But like Scott said, if he got to the plate, he's not seeing a pitch. He's getting run up and in hard. I mean,
yeah, for sure. You got to protect your guys. You have to.
You got to.
And
man.
you got to let them know, like, you guys are kind of like the new kid on the block as far as this goes. Like, you guys are used to being like, you guys are used to being like that lower end team. Show that you guys aren't taking people's bullshit no more. Get in there.
Yeah.
Fucking hit the guy. Like, I'm not saying go at his head. I'm not saying go at his head. There's to me, if you ever throw at someone's head, you're a piece of shit. Okay, you don't throw at someone's head. You want to send
just
a
give
message.
Him upper 80s, low 90s, right to his back.
Yeah, that's it. You just hit the guy in his back. That's all you need to do. If you throw at a guy's head, I'm sorry, but that's not cool. I mean, guys are throwing way too hard to be throwing at people's heads nowadays. You can really hurt someone. Like when you intentionally hit someone, you just want to send a message like, "Hey, saw what you did, didn't appreciate it. Here's a little fuck you. Take your base." And that's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see if he tries doing any more showboating. We'll see if another team takes offense to it, and and handle some stuff. So now before we were gonna kind of keep this episode a little shorter than normal.
Before you switch, there was one sticking with Tampa Bay. The other one was the incident with the pitcher with Zach Eflin was wearing a rubber wedding ring
on his glove hand.
On his glove hand, and they made him take it off.
Yeah. Which I don't understand how that's going to give him any type of advantage. You see the look on his face, like, are you kidding me?
And to top it off, it wasn't. It's not like it was a white rubber. A white rubber ring. It was dark. It looked like it was black. So
yeah, to me, it was bullshit.
You got these players that are out there wearing these huge chains. So if you want to say that him wearing a ring was a distraction, you got the players wearing chains. Now, granted, the pitchers aren't wearing chains, but I don't see an issue with it being it was on his glove hand.
His glove hand, yeah.
Hey, his wife was watching the game. Be like, yeah, watch the game. You trying to be single? Take
yeah. But that's the MLB trying to macromanage shit. I don't see why they did that bullshit. To me, that was bullshit. You don't have the man take off his ring on his left hand. It's not bothering nobody. But I guess it was
trying to be like the no fun league NFL.
Yeah,
I could see if it was on his pitching hand. Little different situation. But the fact that the glove was covering up the hand that had the ring, like it just, I don't know. I think sometimes these umpires, they get a hard on for the power that they have. Trying to instate like it's to the discretion of the umpire, and sometimes they just want to be dicks. Maybe Efron said something during the game to one of the umpires. Maybe he had some calls that he didn't like was going his way, and maybe he was being chirpy. But who the hell saw the ring on his hand, though? That's what I want to know. Who saw it and complained? Because that part I don't know about.
And even if it would have been one of these things that, because the pitchers come off before and after the inning, they're getting checked. Even if it was something that would have been seen when he was coming off after the inning and getting checked, they would have said something then, not when he's back out there the next inning.
Yeah. So with that, we're into MLB. Matt, you got some notes. I know you wanted to do a little news update for NFL. So this is Matt's news update.
I mean, not much happening in the league. Well, I call it the league, NFL, but I mean, CEH's option, they didn't pick it up in Kansas City.
Which is not surprising because, dude, he fell off. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Hey, I still remember. Remember, I called it. I told you.
Yeah.
But we're real big fantasy, and Matt was making a trade up to the number one pick because he wanted CEH. I said, don't take him. Don't take CEH. He's gonna be a bust. I don't give a shit where he went. He's gonna be a bust. I was trying to tell you, take Jonathan Taylor, even though he struggled last year, but still, like. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that they didn't pick him up. I think they got something special. I think Pacheco did just fine last year. I like the way that they had used McKinnon as a pass option back.
Right after that, then they re-signed McKinnon. So McKinnon's gonna be be in that backfield taking some touches. Goff, I mean, could get a contract extension. I mean, with the draft pick of Hendon Hooker, I mean, in the early third, I mean, we'll see what happens there. I don't know why they would get Goff that contract. I think he has 2 years under contract. I think he has like a $30 million cap hit this year. It's not bad. It's not that 40-45 million. I mean, it's doable, but I guess they want to extend it to a long-term deal. The Kenneth Walker, the Pete Carroll, Mr. I'm going to kill everybody's fantasy value. I could care less about fantasy football for the fantasy guys out there. Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker to be competing or battling for the starting running back job over there in Seattle. We'll see how that works out. I mean,
well, Pete Carroll always likes to have two backs. That's just his thing. He really, the only time I really think it was just really one back was really when it was Marshawn Lynch during his prime. Like that was really the only time. But there always seems to be like a couple guys that are just always rotating. San Francisco is another team that does that. They believe in having multiple running backs. But it's interesting if you go back and you look at the last Super Bowl winners. I think it's the last 5 Super Bowl winners. I'll have to go back and double check. None of them have had a bell cow running back. It hasn't been like this one like bell cow running back. Like they use a mix of guys, and to me, I don't think that's a bad idea because
keeps them healthy.
sometimes,
fresh.
well, no, it's not so much that there's just certain situations that call for a certain running back, and some of these like no, Levi and Kansas City going back to Pacheco, it's a great. How many times you see McKinnon out there when you would think Pacheco should be out there, but it's because it's the way that he can help spread the field, being such a threat out of the backfield as far as his catching ability. And it works. I think when you run your offense and you look at things like that, you look at, okay, well, what's working for us, what's not working for us. Even with Tennessee having Derrick Henry just truck people, throw people around like they're kids, and he's playing pee-wee football. Like they're not going to win anything because ultimately it's a throwing league. You have to have a quarterback that can throw, and I just don't think we're in what we used to be as far as the running game.
The running game,
having you win a Super Bowl. So
I mean,
that's my opinion.
In the league, there's only a handful of workhorse backs nowadays. Like Scott said, they're NFL teams and GMs are going into the NFL. Like, how can we make this backfield as deep as we can to keep our team healthy? Like you said, I mean, just get everybody reps. I mean, there's not many people in the league that can get 300 to 350 touches a year and sustain health through all year. That's tough.
Well, the other thing about that is think about all the defensive rule changes like over the course of like the last like 10 to 15 years. Everything that like a lot of these defensive new rules have basically been against the defense, as far as like the way they can hit wide receivers, the way you can touch them off the line. Everything is just going into a way to where it makes it so much harder for defensive backs to, really be physical with wide receivers. And some of these wide receivers, I mean, 6'4", 6'5", these guys are beasts. And if a corner can't be physical with them and he can't do what he needs to do, is just, I'm sorry, it's going to continue to go this way. So another reason I think a lot of teams are not worried about having that bell cow running back. They're just going to use the rotation guys because you're just going to be throwing more. I mean, think about it. How many times do you hear about guys throwing the ball 40 plus times? It happens all the time.
You see it all the time. Every week.
And it used to be like, oh man, this guy had over 30 passes. Pass attempts.
It used to be a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Now it's like, oh, he only had 30. They must have been running the ball. You know what I mean? So the league is changing. The league's changing. And so it doesn't surprise me with the whole situation over there in Seattle with the, using two running backs.
And one last note in the NFL, Judy's 5th-year option was picked up. He's going to carry a $12.9 million cap hit this year, and he's under contract for 2 more years, 24 and 25.
Yeah, I'm surprised they already picked it up. I don't know. I thought he was going to be way better than what it was.
A lot of rumors had him getting
moved. You got a different coaching scheme in there now. You got to remember that.
I think Sean Payton likes those
Sean
receivers.
Payton, he's going to want to throw the ball. He wants to keep his receivers there.
Well, somebody's all about now, whether it's KJ Hamler or Cortland Sutton, which would be perfectly one of those two. I think they hold on to Tim Patrick. I mean, they give him a contract extension, but I think his cap hits like $10 million this year. It's not bad, So
okay, bounce back here for Wilson. Bounce back here for Russell Wilson.
We talking bounce back. We talking top 10.
Or say top 12. Make him a tier 1. Make him a tier 1.
No, I got him as a QB2, high QB2.
So around like the 13, 14 mark?
Yeah, 13, 14 around there. Yeah, I got him around there.
Okay. I could run with that. A little note. San Francisco picked up it was a undrafted wide receiver. The reason they did it, this dude, he's from Carolina. He's 6'4", 210 pounds. He went out and he created his own highlight reel and put it out there for NFL teams to to look at. And San Francisco, I guess, ended up liking what they saw. He went 88 for 1,085 and 6 last year. But still, I mean, 6'4", 210. That was what. Did you watch are you watching it right now? Yeah. He's a pretty big guy, and he has some pretty good first steps off the line. So I'm not saying he's going to make the team or anything, but talk about a guy like believing in himself and putting himself out there, being like, "Hey,
6'4" is a guy you could use. You just throw the ball into the corner of the end zone."
Yeah. And I mean, the Niners don't really need like another wideout, but I could see another practice squad wideout because I mean, obviously, every year Niner injuries happen. It's just I don't know. I don't know what goes on with that ever since Shanahan.
Yeah,
I
like it though, man. It's not where he starts. How you finish. I mean, what if he comes out and tears it up? You never know, man.
Well, look at Josh Allen.
Doesn't matter if he drafted or not.
Look at Josh Allen when he came out of junior college.
Yeah, no one wanted Josh Allen. They were like, "Who's this?"
He got one offer, and it was Wyoming.
Yeah. It just goes to show sometimes someone just needs that opportunity, you know. And there's a lot of guys that come at we talked about this last week. There's a lot of guys that come out of college and they dominate in college because they've already peaked. You know, you don't want to peak yet. You want to be going into the NFL to where you have spots that you can continue to improve on when you've already been a dominating factor. You know, it's just, I don't know. I want to see some of these guys that get picked later on be successful. You know, Brock Purdy was another example of that, even though you hate Brock Purdy.
Yeah, he's not one of my favorites, but I mean, don't hate him, but I don't see where everybody has him being this next, I don't know, supposedly great quarterback. I don't see it, but
yeah.
I mean, everybody has opinions.
Tom Brady.
Oh yeah.
Everyone made just because his combine numbers sucked. It's not about. I understand what the combine is for, but you got to go and look at tape on these guys. I don't give a shit what the combine says. Oh, this guy is super athletic. He's this and that. Okay, well that's fine.
You don't have anybody rushing at you at the combine.
But his tape says that he makes smart decisions. You know, this guy takes care of the football and makes smart decisions. He's just athletic enough. His arm isn't that great, but you can develop arm strength. There's a lot of throwing programs and things like that you can do. And on top of it, these guys are young. Your arm is
just got to get in the right system.
Get older.
Just got to get in the right system, right coaching, right time. I mean, if the stars align, it can happen, man. I mean, there's plenty of NFL greats that were undrafted. Kurt Warner, Antonio Gates. I mean, this guy.
Kurt Warner was bagging groceries.
Yeah,
before he came into the NFL, you know, and the guy's a Hall of Famer, sports pod. That's a great example, Matt.
Antonio Gates, Hall of Fame tight end out of Kansas State. I mean, it can happen. I mean, I'm not saying it can't, but I mean, what if this guy's? You never know. Somebody give him a shot. Niners did, so we'll see.
Yep. So I think with that said, what do you guys think about wrapping this thing up for the week? You guys good? You guys got anything you want to add to it?
I'm just waiting for this Laker Warriors series to pan out, and Lakers to take down the Warriors.
Yeah,
take the champs.
One other draft pick that I don't think we touched on last week either was Stetson Bennett getting drafted to the Rams.
Oh yeah.
Well,
nice, Mike.
So
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, don't
know if they're just.
Yeah, just don't be like, hey, you guys hear about this guy?
I just don't know. I mean, are they already looking at starting their rebuild? The Rams?
Yeah, I think this is it.
Absolutely.
They're gonna try to. They're gonna tell everybody we're trying to win. They ain't got no defense. They lost everybody. The only person on that defense is Aaron Donald. Randy's gone. Only wide receiver on that roster is worth mentioning is Cooper Kupp. I mean, Van Jefferson is. I mean, we've been waiting for this Van Jefferson guy. Scott knows. 3 years already, 4 years. It's not happening.
If you're the Rams, do you sell this year?
They should have sold this off
slow. Yeah, they should have sold this off season. Yeah,
but
they start off slow. I can see it. Trade deadline. I mean, if they're flirting with 3 and 6, you know, you're not looking too hot or whatever. I mean, by week 9, that's where I would probably start looking to move guys.
Well, I think you need to look at the rest of your division. San Francisco's they're top 2 in the
Frisco's
NFC.
Going to take that division.
Seattle might be the 3rd or 4th best team in the NFC now. So So you have 2 teams in your division that are just way above you, and you got to play them twice.
You're gonna laugh.
Probably
going to
go 0-4.
What about but you can't count on Arizona. Yeah, I understand Kyler Murray's going to be out for a little bit, but if they come back and they're healthy. You can't count them out either.
Nah, they suck.
Nah, Buda Baker wants out. The secondary's gonna take a hit. I don't think Arizona's gonna.
Yeah, he wants out, but is it gonna happen?
It will. Somebody will pay the
Yeah,
cost.
but a lot of times when a player wants out, Mike, they don't play up to par, and they're going through a new coaching. They got new coaches. Yeah, new offense. Kyler Murray's hurt. He's coming off that injury.
Cole McCoy's that could be your starter going into this year.
Yeah,
old man McCoy.
I think it will be a battle between the Rams and Arizona as far as who's going to take last place in that division. I don't think either team is anywhere near making any type of noise again in the NFL for a few years.
No.
We'll see what the Rams end up doing with all these guys. But the problem is that they hold these guys for too long. They're not going to get anything for them.
No.
Cooper
Kupp's I don't think they can hold on to him after this year.
Yeah, they can't. So,
no.
But with that said, guys, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. We'll be back next week. Hopefully, everyone will be here to join with us. We were going to do this week live, but we ended up starting a little later than what we wanted to. So if we end up deciding to go live next week, we're going to head and post that on social media so everyone can know we're making an announcement. And hopefully we'll see everyone here live. So with that said, you guys have a good night, and we will next week.
Yep. Have a good week. See you.
Yeah.